Hello again and welcome to another Mordy and Glory Warhammer 40k video. In today's episode, Simon and I will be doing another after action report from one of our battle reports. Now if you haven't seen the battle report, I do highly recommend that you do go and watch it. There will be spoilers in this video and I'll make sure there's a link to it down in the description and also at the end of this episode, so you can go and check that out at your leisure. But with all that said, now let's talk about the Unending Swarm. Wow. My first time using it in anger, in 2,000 points, and I feel with the appropriate amount of models, not just a few dozen termagants, but actually going all in on the swarm with hormagaunts, termagants, and even some gargoyles. And we had some gene stealers as well. We only had two big bugs, and despite the fact we had very much a lack of AP in the army and we were going up against Grey Knights, we were able to come away with a very resounding victory, which I was surprised at when me and Simon were putting the factions against each other and deciding what we were going to use. I thought, man, going pure infantry, not guard, no feel, no pain or nothing against Grey Knights. And I know how much Stormbolter Simon's got, and I know how good his guys are in combat. I thought that would be just suicide. I genuinely thought he would cleave through me. Not necessarily in the first three turns, but I thought turn 5 there would be the possibility of a near tabling. If I hadn't had reinforcements, probably endless waves. Certainly a tabling. But that didn't happen, and as it was, the Nids ended up coming away with 98 victory points to the 16 points to the Grey Knights. So Simon, I'm going to pass over to you now and ask you, what was it like being against, I know it was another Horde army for you, but what was it like going against the Tyranids, just generally speaking, and then also, what did you feel, what was the big differences when you were facing this versus the Guard?
Well, these guys die as opposed to the Guard, if I'm honest. This plays, I think this plays more like what you'd expect a Horde army to play like. I think Guard Horde, and if you've seen previous videos, you'll have heard me getting rather stroppy about it.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually play like a Horde army in some respects.
It's unique because most Horde armies are close combat, like Orcs, Nids, and then Guard is Horde and shooting, which is a deadly combo, I think.
But it's also, I think if you compare this to Guard is also more, you expect Horde armies to die easily, which this one did.
Yes.
I was cutting great sways through. I mean, the dead pile at the end of the table is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm playing Kriegers, that doesn't happen.
No. And how many times have you gone in and just started? And how many times have you gone in and bounced?
Yeah. And that's a massive difference. They died. They don't hit as hard. But they have got the movement shenanigans as well, which kind of changed the way I was playing a couple of times.
This was much faster. I felt like the Hormagaunts were wherever I needed them to be, they could get there.
Yeah, but I think the big difference for me, certainly because we played Grey Knights against Horde Guard before, that my army felt elite compared to yours. A couple of units of 5 were holding a couple of combats for 2 or 3 turns.
You actually held.
Yeah.
And eventually you went down, but it felt right. It felt like, an elite unit of Grey Knights probably will get wiped out if it's getting swarmed by 2 giant broods of stuff. But they're not getting rolled over.
Yes.
And this is the first time I've played a game of 40k where combat went on for more than one round.
Yeah. This was actually a fun Horde army to play against. I enjoyed the game, and it played like a Horde army.
So it's not we kind of don't do pure infantry guard versus Grey Knights or Necrons. We've done that, and it's supremely unfun for the person going against the pure infantry guard. And we've kind of relegated that to being like, if we're going to a tournament, that's the situation. But otherwise, it's too damn powerful. It's not even too damn powerful. It's too damn demoralising. But you would say this was actually quite fun, even though
this was a good fun. I enjoyed this battle. It was good fun. It played like a swarm army. I looked at it and go, right, I know what it does. It's a swarm. It's got some movement shenanigans. but it's not, it's not hitting me on 2s. That's...
Yeah, it's in your 4s.
Yeah, it's hitting me on 4s. It's not got special weapons, so it's really good fun. It's good fun to play against. It plays really like a swarm. How competitive it is, I don't know. But, it's genuinely a fun swarm army to play against.
That's good to know.
Much more so than playing guard swarm.
So you won't mind, if not right away, but if if it came out again, that would be a good...
Yeah.
Now, speaking of it coming out again, what would you do differently, if anything?
Not draw shockingly bad secondaries.
That definitely didn't help. That definitely did not help. And your dice rolls, there was definitely a couple of... I don't think we can judge the Unending Swarm positive. We can get a first impression, but when your opponent is rolling cool, and the secondaries are coming out cool, it definitely can over-skew it in one way. So more field testing needs to be done, but... Taking that out of the equation.
So I think I made a mistake, and it was the mistake I made was when the Interceptors and the Strike Squad came out and kind of formed the line. Now, it was quite
very
dramatic,
very cool.
But actually, if I go back now, it only withheld it only stopped the inevitable for a turn. Whereas actually, what I should have done is just taken them off the board and redeployed them somewhere else.
Yes.
That was a mistake on my part. I think for me the key turn 2, whiffing those 2 charges was huge. Really, really big. If the 10-man block of Terminators is in the centre on the centre objective, then I'm going to leave them there and say try and get me off, or at least you're going to have to throw. But failing that charge meant they would have been not on an objective, and you would have just been pinning the back time after time after time after time. So actually...
So it's a little bit like, in a funny sort of way, the dudes that should have stayed on the ground, the Termies, jumped up. And the dudes that should have jumped up stayed on the ground.
Yeah, the Termies...
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they did. I think I did the right thing taking them out, because, like I said, if they'd have stayed on the centre objective, that's where they should have been. But they failed the charge, so they weren't going to be there. So having them fighting endless waves of bug turn, I mean, they were just going to blat every unit you put into them.
Yeah, I've no killing power.
But they weren't going to move ever again. They'd have been stuck there. So that to me, that turn 2, along with the secondaries, made it an uphill battle. But I think that was a big clanger for me leaving. I should have just... Discretion is a better part of valor, and said, you know what, you can have that.
Yeah.
And the other thing, especially that cost me, because the Strike Marines were tied up. I had 2 sets of Strike Marines tied where they should have been on the objective where Drago was for the game, and I could have made that sticky. Or I've got, a unit of strikes on it, not the unit of...
Yeah.
Not unit of Terminators with Drago.
yeah, true.
Less than ideal.
Yeah, just going over to the Tyranids for a minute, just comparing some of the different endless multitude units. I really felt like the Hormagaunts were the far superior infantry. They moved faster, they actually had some form of AP, and they actually did damage. I could not tell you one model that the Termagants actually killed. Maybe it was a Strike Marine here, an Intercessor, or whatever it is, an Interceptor there, but it really wasn't a lot.
No, yeah.
But the Hormagaunts were zipping all over the place, charging. It's the advance and charge is incredible. If I was to do this again, I would... I genuinely think that getting that extra brood of Hormagaunts would be the way to do it. I think the big problem I had is a lot of my Termagants were armed with flesh borers. Flesh borers are okay, but they're like a bolt pistol. It's like, whatever. But the Devourers allow you to get 20 shots from one unit, and then you get lethal hits from the Tervigon. So I think if I was to do it, and I took the flesh borers because I thought, well, they have got assault, so I can move and advance. But really, the Hormagaunts do that for me. The Hormagaunts do all the movie stuff I need. Yeah. And what I actually needed was just some more DACA. And I think if I had double the amount, I definitely noticed when I was shooting the Devourers, I would get a Purifier. It's just like one, but I get one.
Yeah. When
I shot the flesh borers, I don't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a 2-up save, isn't it? I mean, that's not, that if I was playing with Necrons, the way to shots would scare me a lot more against 2 up save, you know, if you're making me do 4 up saves with my Catans, you want the weight of shots.
Yeah. I mean, I could devour down one of those Catans, not reliably, but I could certainly take a few wounds off it.
Yeah.
But then what do I follow up with? Oh my god.
Yeah, well, no, I think, you know, because you're not got any AP, it's a lot of shots. I mean, all right, I got quite, what was it, 17 2-ups I made at one point?
One time. You had that one spike. You used it all in that one location.
Yeah, which wasn't kind of. Yeah, I wouldn't need to. I think you need to play it more because I think 2-up saves, it's difficult to judge that, because if it was a 3-up save, I think it's a completely different kettle of fish.
I think surprisingly, this was quite a difficult matchup for it. I think, you know, in terms of like stress testing and the swarm, going up against an army who basically only has anti-infantry and shooting and can operate in multiple phases, so they can damage you. They don't just hit you once in a turn; they can hit you twice with their shooting. I think it was quite a good. It was a good test, but like you said, it was how does it work against armies that aren't a 2-up save?
Yeah.
How does it work against like orcs and like an army that's going to come at me as fast as I'm going to go at them?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few things there.
And also, I mean, the disparity in OC is huge. I mean, you had what, 300 OC? I don't know.
I had at least 440 OC.
Yeah, I had 15, 45, 65, 75. I probably had 83 OC.
83. You know what's interesting though?
What?
You did not fall behind on primary.
No, that's very true. But then, you know, I think it's that army allowed me to do it, because at the beginning I saw after you deployed and, you know, you were light on your left and my right, so I just picked everything up on my left and went, I'm off ski, and nailed that for the rest of the game. So if I didn't have that as an option, that would have been more difficult, I think.
A couple of things that I noticed is that I didn't really use the Tervigons spawn repair injured units. You know, I put a few, usually like once, and it came up, it was like, oh, that was nice, I got 6 back, but then they all just died the next turn anyway. So yeah, the Tervigons, they are iconic for a swarm army, but I don't think they are actually necessary. I think if I was to do this and be as meta as I could be, first thing that goes in is 120 Hormiguns, no doubt.
Yeah.
And then I think I pick one other kind of bug I want to swarm with. Maybe it's gargoyles, they're kind of expensive now. Probably go for the Termagants anyway. And then it really comes down to, do I take 3 Tervigons and try and have lots of lethals, or do I sack off the Tervigons and have some actual firepower in here? Some Exocrines, some Tyrannofexes. And so I'm only going to have, let's say, rather than like the 200 plus infantry I had this time, maybe I only have 180. But the rest of it, I rely on reinforcements a bit, and the rest of it is you're dealing with the swarm whilst the gun bugs are tearing holes in you.
Yeah. I think the way to try that would be to run it against my Steel Legion.
I think I would really struggle against Steel Legion with this particular list, the way I ran it.
But because then you're going to be playing a gun line, so you're going to need some shooting.
Yeah.
Potentially need some shooting or not. You know, that would be... I don't think he did that well, because I had the manoeuvrability and I could just I was trying to fight as far away from... And I think I did that pretty well, which was, you know, at the far end of
the thing I'd do against Steel Legion would be I'd try and pin you in.
Yeah, which, again, will probably work, but it'd be interesting to see.
The surge moves weren't very relevant in this game because I didn't actually want to surge into Grey Knights and get my ship pushed in.
Yeah.
But surge, you know, because remember, each time you hit me, I surge. So you fire one chimera, d6 inches.
Yeah.
You fire the next chimera, d6 inches. You fire the next chimera, d6 inches. So it's like, do you spread your firepower and have a few units, you know, each unit come forward d6s? Or do you concentrate, try and destroy it, but then it's getting closer and closer towards you?
Yeah, because that would give you another... That would give you a different benchmark against a different army. Because, you know, you can't...
You were very elite, very concentrated, which made actually the surge move not great.
Yeah.
Against a more spread out army, yeah. So really, well, next week, Sam. No, I'll give you.
I think that would be a very interesting, you know, because that's going to give you an alternative against how this plays against an army that wants to play completely differently.
Well, you heard it here first. Simon wants to take the Nids on again.
Yeah, I'd play that. I'd rather play that than your Krieg blobs. Honestly,
that is a huge praise to the Nids and a huge indictment of the guard.
And whatever you say, I am a guard commander at heart. And,
you are.
Yeah, much rather play that is a fun list to play against. That and actually, it's genuinely that was a good game. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and it's nowhere near as oppressive as playing Krieg blobs.
Okay.
By any stretch of imagination, because it feels like there's counters to this and you can play around it.
All right. I'm very excited. I really like playing my Tyranids. Yeah. Like they're very, as a guard player, that it's like playing guard, but you feel much faster. Yeah. Guard often feels very, even for the person using them, grindy. That's why I quite like using Scions. It's why I like using my Nids because it's just blah, 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 you just run at people. So yeah, obviously, if you change your mind next week, but I'm happy to do, Guard v Nids. It's a classic matchup, and I'm happy to stress test the Endless Swarm once more.
That would be an interesting. I think I'll just give you a different alternative.
I won't tweak the list too much. I might, get a few, drop the Gene Stealer, see if I can get 20 more Hormone Gaunts in there, because I don't think the Gene Stealers really did much.
You need any more.
I want them.
Yeah,
I want them.
Yeah, I think there's plenty there that's because mine's a high. If one thing that army's going to do, my Grey Knight's going to do is kill infantry.
Yeah.
And chaff infantry, and that hasn't got all the way through. You're not going to come against many lists that's got that amount of chaff infantry.
That's what I'm thinking.
Killing power.
It's all well and good. People having repulsors, executioners, people having gladiator lancers. Oh, well done. You literally, with your main gun, obliterated 2 termagants.
Exactly.
And yeah, you've got a lot of accoutrement that might kill another 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But I'm now surging.
Yeah. And
you hit me again and I'm surging again.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be many lists out there that's going to chew through that. And I think at some point you're going to get diminishing returns on having even more bugs.
No such thing.
Yeah.
That's your perspective. What's interesting is that is obviously a very important statement, because you're saying this from the perspective of someone who is playing against it. My inclination is obviously like more. But you're saying, no, you felt like there was enough there. As the opponent, you felt like there was always enough bugs to cause you issues.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you could. I mean, what else are you going to do? I guess because you're always going to be wearing my deep strike, so you've had to perhaps leave a few more behind than you would have done against.
I definitely was.
So again, against another opponent, you're going to have fewer in your backfield, so you're going to have more coming down. So yeah, I think it will benefit from having a little bit of something else.
Okay. Yeah.
What that is, I don't know. I'm not a Nids player.
Yeah.
Horrible little gits that they are. But I think, and any more would just be meme in it.
Well, I do love a good meme list, but no, I will definitely take that on board. And the big question for me now is, okay, do I add in? Do I take some bugs out and maybe add some more Gene Stealers in? Because even though the Gene Stealers weren't as swarmy, they have a scout move, so they're pretty fast. Allow me to get some early objectives. They did literally allow me to get some points. Or do I take some small bugs out and put some fire support in there?
You need something that's going to kill something chunky, because otherwise you're going to be living in Grey Knight land, where you
yeah, you never kill anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I think Steel Legion will be an interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, are you going to chew through 6 Chimeras, 4 Lehman Russes, or 3 Lehman Russes, however many I've got?
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at yours. Are you going to be able to chew through that or not?
Yeah, that's a good point. And on that note, I guess the one thing to say is we'll find out. But Simon, thank you for staying behind after the battle report and giving me some of your coveted inner thoughts.
Christ, that's worrying.
And also I'll say big thank you to all of you guys for watching the video. Of course, this is all like our opinion, man. But let us know what you think down in the comment section. What were your takeaways? What were your impressions of the Unending Swarm in the battle report we did, but of course, and also any other battles that you have encountered them or used them yourselves. I want to say a big thank you to all the guys that support the channel. Thank you to all the channel members and the Patreons. It's thanks to you guys that we are able to do this kind of content. And of course, if you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing, truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members, so thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Mad Larkin, Marcus Roberts, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Varney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.